What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Nia Jax has learned her lesson, Finn Balor has retired the demon character, could Roman Reigns be behind Retribution, Karrion Kross vacates the NXT Championship, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into the first story, as it looks like Finn Balor has retired the demon. Finn Balor has had one of the most topsy-turvy careers in the WWE, winning the NXT Championship, then moving up to the main roster where he quickly won the Universal Championship. However, injuries and inconsistent pushes hampered his career, and now Balor has returned to NXT in an apparent effort to revitalize his career on the black and gold brand. While it's arguable he's done neither in NXT, fans are wondering if he might utilize his alter ego the Demon to jumpstart his career. While we would be thrilled to see the return of the Demon, Sportskeeter's Tom Collihue's recent report suggests that won't be happening. He mentioned, "There are no plans to ever see the Demon King again in the WWE. No plans at all to have it in NXT. Finn Balor doesn't want the Demon King. He felt it was a bad thing to have it on the main roster when he got there, so he is rebuilding himself a little bit. There may be times when he may choose to go back to the Demon King, but that's being left up to him. But at the moment, no plans for Demon King." Balor's value as a performer has diminished significantly, and it's likely any return of the Demon right now would only diminish the Demon character as well. Sometimes it could be a bit of a spoiler for the match, as it's most likely, not all the time, that he's going to win the match when he turns up as a demon. We hope we do see it again. Next up, Nia Jax has possibly learned a lesson. Nia Jax continues to receive a strong push in the WWE despite her well-deserved reputation for potatoing opponents with her reckless in-ring style. However, one person who thinks Jax has learned her lesson is Road Warrior Animal, who talked to Sportskeeter about it. Nia, before she got her knees operated on, was the perfect vision of Nia. She's so conscious now about not hurting anybody because she probably got yelled at a lot by the company because a lot of girls were getting hurt. She probably got yelled at, and her method and her way she's doing things now is different. She's not letting loose. She's extra cautious. I guess she hurt Kairi Sane, which was a shoot. I think she probably got her talking to pretty good. Jax is teaming with Shayna Baszler at this Sunday's Payback to face WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Bayley and Sasha Banks. If the WWE does put the Tag Team Championship around her waist, then it could indicate that all is forgiven. Next up, a timetable for Retribution reveal. Is the WWE getting ready to reveal the identities of Retribution's members? Not if a recent report by Sportskeeter's Tom Collihu is accurate. Appearing on the Dropkicks Discussions podcast, Collihu mentioned, "I think it'll still be a while yet. I think we're looking at closer to Survivor Series, at least in and around after the draft, because once you unmask someone, they then can be drafted. But I don't think they want the visual of Retribution members being drafted to Raw or SmackDown, so it will definitely be after the draft." He does have an idea on when fans might learn who has been masterminding Retribution's attacks on the WWE. Some eagle-eyed wrestling fans may have figured out who is behind Retribution. As Retribution stood tall on the ring apron on Raw, one person sussed out who the members could be. Beginning with Caden Carter, then Mia Yim, then Shane Thorne, Dominik Dijakovic, Dio Madden, and then Chelsea Green. If you look at the height of each person, Dijakovic is the tallest at 6'7", then Madden trails behind just an inch lower at 6'6", which kinda looks right from the picture. Caden Carter is the smallest at 5'2", which is clear in the photo. Then Shane Thorne at 6'2", and Chelsea Green and Mia Yim share the same height at 5'7", and they look almost level. What do you guys think? Are these Retribution's members right here? Whatever the case, it seems the WWE is booking the Retribution angle on the fly, so it's just possible fans could learn the group's identity sooner rather than later. For example, Mr. McMahon might see the ratings take another hit, especially with Monday Night Football returning soon, and decide to hotshot a Raw. Another problem is that it's unknown whether WWE Creative has even figured out who is in the group, as these people could just be stand-ins. However, a WWE Hall of Famer has shown strong feelings about the group as well as a payoff for the storyline, as could Roman Reigns be the secret leader of Retribution? And during an appearance on Sportskeeter's Legion of Raw, WWE Hall of Famer Road Warrior Animal discussed the storyline and how he's not a big fan. I just think even having anything like a Retribution come in there is wrong. We don't need it. The timing is not right. We don't need that in our business. What we need is something to be healing in our society and our business and everybody. Animal isn't the first person who has noticed the similarities between Retribution and mass rioters. He said there could be a big payoff for the storyline if it's handled right. If they out of the blue came up with another faction that claimed house on Retribution, maybe the payoff could be great. But who is going to be the main brainchild behind Retribution? Maybe Roman Reigns is going to be the big payoff with Retribution. There has been talk of Reigns being revealed as the group's leader as well as The Miz. For now, it's likely WWE is still figuring out the storyline as well as the group's members. Who do you think might be in Retribution and who would you like to see in the group? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Karrion Kross vacates the NXT Championship. NXT needs a new champion as Karrion Kross has been forced to vacate the NXT Championship he just won days before at NXT TakeOver 30. Kross and Scarlett appeared on last night's edition of NXT, with Kross relinquishing the belt due to the shoulder injury he suffered at TakeOver. What's kind of eerie is that this is the same injury that took out Finn Balor, and as you know, he also relinquished the Universal Championship the next night after SummerSlam. Later in the show, NXT General Manager William Regal announced that a new champion will be crowned in a fatal 4-way Iron Man match between Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor, and Adam Cole on next week's Super Tuesday edition of NXT. Who could be the next champion? To be honest, our money is on Finn Balor. Next up, has WWE found a solution for virtual fan hijacks? The WWE's virtual fans seem like a good way to bring fans in without the risks of anyone becoming infected by the coronavirus. Unfortunately, a few people couldn't let the WWE Universe have anything nice, posting pictures of Chris Benoit and a video of a clan meeting, as well as something worse that we can't even mention on YouTube. Understandably embarrassed, the WWE is looking to avoid repeats of these incidents, and according to the Wrestling Observer, they may have found a way avoiding fans hijacking the show. I've been told that they're going to be making some changes. I don't know this for sure, but the impression that I get is, when they've been doing this for a while, they're going to find some fans that are going to obey rules no matter what. I believe what they're going to do is that they're going to find all of the people they can trust who have done this before and are trustworthy, and they're going to be in the lower bowl, and then everybody who they don't necessarily trust, the first timers, they're going to throw them into the upper bowl. They could put a volcano up on screen and you're not going to be able to see it because it's the way it's up there in the upper bowl. As embarrassing as the clan video was, the WWE is likely more worried about someone exposing themselves on national television. Even if the virtual fan was forced to pay, WWE would suffer bad press. But do you think this policy will work for them? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, a main roster star returns to NXT. It was a busy night on the most recent NXT, with former Seth Rollins' disciple Austin Theory returning to the black and gold brand. Theory returned to NXT during a backstage segment where he ridiculed Bronson Reed's career, telling Reed he might make it to WrestleMania by the time he turns 55. Reed slapped Theory in the face, possibly setting up a future program between the two. You may recall that Theory disappeared from WWE TV after his name came up during the Speaking Out movement. It's possible WWE may have done their investigation and have found nothing, just like they did with Velveteen Dream. Next up, the reason why Vince changed Keith Lee's ring gear. Keith Lee debuted on Raw on 24th August, but fans familiar with his work in NXT were baffled by his new ring attire and entrance music, with some fans describing his outfit as something akin to a miniskirt. Okay, it wasn't that bad. Lee's new look shouldn't surprise anyone who has seen NXT stars jump to the main roster with new music and/or a new outfit. Aleister discussed this on the Dropkicks Discussions podcast, saying there's a number of reasons for this. Vince likes to make sure that there's something of a clean slate between NXT and the call-up, and a large part of that is to get the audience talking. So essentially, the WWE believed that what he has now is better than what he had on NXT. So they expected people on social media to say, oh, this is great. And as part of that about his music, this music is new, it's exciting, let's get people talking, let's make sure Keith Lee trends, and Keith Lee did trend, not necessarily what they were going for. According to Aleister, Lee approved of the ring gear change several weeks before his call-up. Apparently, the reason behind his change of theme was due to the WWE convincing wrestlers to ditch any themes composed by CFOs, who no longer work with the promotion. This is because they signed in their words, a terrible deal that grants their publishers 50% of any royalty payments. So hopefully this is just temporary and it's going to be changed very soon. And finally, is Aleister Black getting a big push? During an episode of the Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer observed why Aleister Black was turned heel. Kevin Owens needs an opponent because originally he was supposed to face Seth, but Ray signed, so now Kevin Owens needs an opponent. So Kevin Owens has an opponent, so it's just what it is. Black seems better off as a heel, and Kevin Owens needs a good opponent as he hasn't done much since his feud with Seth Rollins. Current WWE Champion Drew McIntyre is a big fan of Black's work and told Newsweek's Philip Martinez, "I know there's more to come from Aleister Black for sure. I'm just waiting for that big moment. He knows his character as well as I know mine. He knows what he's going for and it's really cool, and I guess it's just doing it the right way to connect the right way because he's got all the tools. Once you put the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle in the right place is when someone gets on a roll. I think Aleister Black is finally going to put that jigsaw puzzle together and he's going to be on the run of a lifetime." Let us know what you think of Aleister Black's heel turn as well as Drew McIntyre's take on Black's potential. As always, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.